They should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed.
I've been watching watching her, watching how she moves, how she positions herself, how she's being used. And I can't lie, it's getting weird.
If ever you want to talk to daddy, you just look up to the sky and start talking to him. He can hear you.
And Trump has always had a cruel way of using women, you could say, to uphold a paternalistic narrative of merit around his actions. Like, Erika Kirk is one of many women a part of this story Trump is trying to create that detracts from the insidious nature of his normative interactions with women.
Epstein wrote in a 2011 email that Trump had spent hours at Epstein's house with a victim of sex trafficking, and said in a separate message years later that Trump, quote, knew about the girls.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong.
I have a dream.
I think we could start to dive into it. We got enough people in the chat. Okay, again and again. It's nice to see everybody. So we're examining the narrative of MAGA identity today. I guess you could say we're daughtering into Aryan ideology, okay? Because MAGA is way more than just Donald Trump, right? MAGA is Matt Walsh's What is a Woman? MAGA is Ben Shapiro's 2016 run. MAGA is Critical Drinkers' reviews on leftist media. MAGA looks like Asmongold rallying a fan base propagated off of the idea of racism to police certain video game genres and actively change the narrative of video game media. You know what I'm saying? Like, narrative, MAGA is more than just a couple actors. Like, MAGA is also the soft power in which it plants its roots in, you could say. As much as they're trying to pretend that this phenomenon is not globalizing right now, it really is, right? I mean, Turning Point USA with Charlie Kirk had chapters in America, Canada, the UK, France, Australia, and even in places like New Zealand, you know. Some could say the globalization of MAGA is at this point normalized, even, quote unquote. South Korea the other day handed out pamphlets of words illegal under the Trump immigration, and one of them was diversity, right? Culture wars are literally being exported as a soft power to construct and impose populist beliefs in an American sense, right? Which appeals to all of these new far-right factions all over the globe, right? I mean, if you throw in Gamergate, there's been a brewing movement since 2016, you could even say, with far-right rhetoric. You'd be dumb not to notice it, right? When I say Aryan, I'm not just saying it for the rage bait this time, chat. I'm referring to the colonial text. You know what I'm saying? Someone said, yeah, Sweden's far-right party copies Trump's talking points. The Obama response, Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA was started by billionaires. MAGA is capitalism. Right. MAGA is the phrase Reagan and Bush used to run for president and VP on. The presidential pins you could still find today, right? And I also want to zero in on that aspect of an arbitrary narrative created with this new white supremacist belief, this new globalized white supremacist belief, right? Certain culture wars are being pushed for a reason. Certain people are being pedestaled for a reason. These people look a certain way for a reason. And the topic of this convo, Erika Kirk, very much fits a narrative mold that satiates a overall need for MAGA, right? Because if you look at MAGA and you look at the modern conservative movement, there's not really a lot of, you know, men creating spaces for women, you could say. Like, Andrew Tate do the exact opposite, you know what I'm saying? Like, that podcast content in and of itself is very polarizing in a gender war, right? So to stir sentiment or to create a counterculture, Tradwifes are actually beneficial to the right? Because they bring in a lot of women. It's nice to see you, by the way, Cardamon. But anyways, I'm ranting. So chat, this is basically how MAGA narratives create populist beliefs, right? And a really good example of someone that, you know, started this sort of internet escapade was Erika Kirk's husband, Charlie Kirk, right? And what y'all need to understand about racism and transphobia is that they're not just distractions. They're also building blocks of societally found communally. And if you don't know Charlie Kirk, I don't know where you've been living the last few months. I don't I don't know where you've been. I don't know where you've been. Someone said they're campaigning "Stop the Boats" as a slogan to boot immigrants in the UK right now, using fake stats to claim they commit more crimes. Typical MAGA adjacent BS. Yup. It's kind of weird too how you know, a lot of African countries are pulling away from countries like France, while at the same time a lot of countries, you know, like the US, are funding the UAE and leading to a further destabilization of Northern Africa, creating more immigrants. You know what I'm saying? Like, cutting off USA killed like hundreds of thousands of people already. You know what I'm saying? Hundreds of thousands of African people. And there's already a rapid immigration crisis purposely created by the USA. You know what I'm saying? And now they're saying, okay, well, I'm giving the billionaires like 10 million more dollars, all so these people can die, right? It's not even that much that they cut. It's not even that much you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very weird. It's very weird. Well, it's nice to see you, Vila. Racism and transphobia go hand in hand. Denying trans people is denying the long history of two-spirit individuals. Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nice to see you here, by the way. Wait, what the hell? New donation from Brain Frog. Thank you so much, Brain Frog. Like I said, these racism and transphobia are building blocks of societally found communally. Charlie Kirk was a right-wing organizer, right? He created this organization called Turning Point USA, which had more than 850 chapters on US college campuses alone, right? And like I said, these college campuses are now being set up in Canada, are now being set up in Australia, now being set up in Europe, right? This organization is meant to conduct discussions and conferences over issues such as immigration, quote unquote, abortion rights. Kirk was against them and race, all right? And I hate on Charlie Kirk a lot. I hope Hitler is doing something freaky with his neck hole for sure. You know what I'm saying? I hope Hitler getting in there. Like, oh my God. Like, I hate. Someone said, lol, Turning Point Alberta. When they do Turning Point Alberta, I'm gonna flip. When they do Turning Point Alberta, oh my God, they better never bring that. Oh my God. If there's a Turning Point Alberta and I have to, oh my God. I can't imagine. Oh my God. We really live in a wild new wave, I just want to say. Plant Lawyer said, I think there already is. I don't there shouldn't be. But anyways, like I said, I hope Charlie Kirk is suffering. However, as much as he's mocked, Charlie streamlined an anti-trans campaign which got the Nazis in power in the 21st century to give his billionaire associates more power successfully, right? He rewired this Nazi strategy and made it into an internet propagandist belief, right? He made white supremacist beliefs popular to little boys, utilizing the new art movement of the short form algorithm, right? He's a big reason why there are the two gender conversations being so polarizing in 2025, right? This is someone that brought millions of views in publicity for the MAGA movement. And in an online sense, Charlie Kirk's contribution to MAGA was so great. The only second to him was like Elon Musk, you know what I'm saying? And that's because he threw down like 30 billion so DAX enjoyers can have an opinion, right? His influence is important because of the piece he represents in the picture of MAGA, right? Because MAGA is a whole bunch of differing narratives and movements, right? Someone said first time Turb stream on Twitch instead of YouTube. Nice to see you here. Nice to see you here. But we're gonna start off with the video that's gonna that's starting us off. That's starting us off. By the way, sub to Pamela Price Unfiltered like this.
Donald Trump and the MAGA movement was his willingness. Charlie Kirk's value to Donald Trump and the MAGA movement was his willingness as a podcaster and a private citizen to speak the most demeaning racist comments about black people and immigrants that white supremacists wanted to hear and spread across this country. His ability to rally young people to embrace white supremacy was supposedly his contribution. At least one commentator has reported, however, that Charlie Kirk was a failure. His mission to create a wave of young white supremacists failed. According to research, the numbers of younger voters who turned out in 2024 and voted Republican went down, and the number of total votes went down, although Donald Trump did gain a larger share of the youth vote. Writer Michael Harriot wrote these words. Charlie Kirk did not build a political miracle. He profited from a white constructed narrative that has zero actual basis in facts. He did not debate. He propagandized. He did not espouse Christian values. He did not love his gay, black, and trans neighbors as he loved himself. He persuaded no one. The only people who believe Charlie Kirk wasn't a racist are his fellow racists.
Right? He made this populism popular to a public, cemented in the narrative of MAGA, right? And given that like upwards of 35% of the US population is evangelical, politicians aimed to appeal to them, right? That's why Charlie Kirk was this man of God, martyr, being widowed, right? See, Erika Kirk and even Charlie Kirk himself is part of a grander conversation of MAGA populism. Whether you like it or not, we live in a conversation where aspects like bioessentialism and racism traditionally are barriers of understanding to a broader public, right? You can't escape this, right? It's in the curriculum you learn, it's in the content you consume, the way we even talk to each other in a relational basis. However, Erika Kirk fits into fashion these curated ideals as long-standing tradition as a tradwife, right? However, whenever a right-wing mouthpiece speaks about tradition, what they're referring to is an arbitrary moment in history, right? Charlie and Erika Kirk are important actors in a greater counterculture of white supremacy, right? As the literal figurehead of the MAGA movement, Donald Trump has consistently displayed Erika Kirk's kissing campaigns. Same with JD Vance, kind of disgusting, to be honest, right? They've been on some weird stuff. Someone said Turning Point has been building to this point for a while, looking for their figurehead, right? Bill Montgomery and Charlie Kirk, when he was 18, talking at school, and basically was like, "Hey, you big-headed jackass, you want to make money being a horrible person," right? I've heard that that Charlie Kirk was in a mostly liberal school too doing this. So it's so weird to me because it's like you were that radical and you had all these people around you in a liberal sense. I don't know where Charlie Kirk went, but I don't know how that slid at school. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know how that slid at school. How can Charlie Kirk like successfully go up and just play rage bait simulator where he rage baits the other side as hard as he can with Bible verses, you know what I'm saying, and somehow get Roe v. Wade disinstated out of the Constitution. Like this man was on weird levels of understanding. Oh my God, first time catching you live. I'm so excited. Nice to see you. A lot of people said first time. I never go on this late. I'm on hella late. Someone said the right has been baying for a martyr for a long time. I'm not saying it's all a conspiracy, but it wouldn't be a surprise if it was to me. Liberal equals a conservative with thrifted Gucci shoes. That ass, right? But when I say MAGA identity though, I need y'all to understand MAGA, like I said before, is propped off of a normative understanding of conservative populism littered in our history, right? Narratives like the MAGA movement work off of instative prerogatives that were taken into, that don't take into the history of resistance groups, marginalized voices, and those who have since been erased from history in millions, right? Or else ICE wouldn't be a thing, or else we would recognize a lot of people from New Mexico as Mexicans, right? The USA invaded and took that land not that long ago and then deemed all those people illegal. Like this is probably 100 years apart from our history, right? Like I was reading Black as History the other day, and as I'm trying to familiarize myself with more American history in general, ever since mine was like a bit more Canadian, I'm realizing we really live in the fossils of ideals created by white racists. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of mind altering. Like the fact that the first settlers of what would come to be the United States, right, lived in unheated homes and only found sanctuary due to Powhatan people who already lived in Turtle Island in a sophisticated society with central heating, a concept they discovered even, right? The white settlers believed their own hype against taking down this indigenous nation so much that while they were on Powhatan EBT, because Powhatan people had to give white people EBT in order for white people to make it through the winter, right? They hatched a scheme to kidnap a Powhatan leader's daughter, force her into Catholicism, all for access to some soil to plant tobacco, right? By the way, when they weren't on Powhatan EBT, they were eating their own white pregnant woman, right? It was recorded. But history is written and constructed by some evil and greedy people in a material reality. So instead of that history of America, you'll get the history of, oh, Christopher Columbus, oh, Ben Franklin, oh, Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. You know what I'm saying, right? All this to say, the aspect of narrative propaganda of populist society is in place and constructive for a reason, right? By dictators like Trump, Netanyahu, militia funded by the RSF and Dubai. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the RSF militia funded by Dubai. You know what I'm saying? Get that right. Get that right. Free Sudan. It's important for Netanyahu to say the subjugation of Palestine started on October 7th because it mitigates all harm done before then. It's important for the RSF to do political aid stunts on Palestine so it can convince the world it's Arabist and not an active cooperator of Israel and United States, right? It's important for MAGA to mourn Charlie Kirk as a figure of Christian martyrdom because it helps with the populist of Catholic countries worldwide now that we're globalized, right? For legitimacy. And who better to do this than Erika Kirk, right? In a sense of white victimhood, in a broader narrative. Who better to do this than Erika Kirk, right? Which leads me to the main topic of this video being Erika Kirk and the greater narrative of populist belief MAGA is purposely trying to contort to a public, right? Someone said the original Zionism. Yup. Someone said European people came to Turtle Island to just plant Christianity in negative showers, right? You know what's so weird to me? Looking at before and after pictures of LA, specifically before that Hoover Dam was set up, and seeing how much fertile land indigenous people had and how beautiful that flower bed was, how diverse it was. It's so weird to me because I'm like, what's been taken away in a proper narrative sucks. It sucks. Shout out to Wild for becoming a member, by the way, becoming a member of the YouTube party. But anyways, moving on to the video. The video that started this spiral of a thought process was this video a little while ago. Actually, I made a couple videos on Charlie Kirk at this point, but Erika Kirk specifically, it was this video.
Kirk sat down for an exclusive interview. This is her first interview with the media since the assassination of her husband. And we've all been wanting to hear from her. Every time she speaks, it's so powerful and so emotional. So she sat down with one of Charlie's really good friends, Jesse Waters. It's going to air in its entirety on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock during his show. But here's an emotional clip about how she's talking to her children about their daddy and his death.
You told your children that Charlie was going on a work trip with Jesus. Are they still asking, where's daddy?
Yes, my daughter continues to ask, but it's really sweet because I keep explaining.
You see how she's exploiting the Christian evangelical narrative? She's really pandering to that 35% of that globalized Catholic evangelical kind of MAGA narrative in order to push herself as a figure to these people, right? And what's so scary is that it works in a populist sense. It's worked historically in a populist sense. This aspect of white fragility and victimhood contorted will go on to skew this narrative in her direction. What's weird to me is the way white women are used by MAGA, you know, and then to the left, the way indigenous and Hispanic and black women are used by MAGA, where they will be tools of propaganda when you're talking about things like culture wars revolving around EBT. You will see them conservative figures using AI figures of black women and making up points about, what was that racist ass point about black women? See, I'm not racist enough to even remember these terms, but there was this term about black women in EBT. They used it for so long. Ronald Reagan used it. Donald Trump used it. A bunch of officials used it. And basically it's to demean black women who are on EBT. when white women and white men by majority are on EBT more than us, which is weird, right? This should be a class war. This should be a class war, right? Y'all are saying welfare queens. Now I'm remembering. Welfare queens, welfare queens. I have a dream. Thank you, chat. Thank you, chat. But anyways, and then beside it, right, you see how white women are treated, how white women are given this desk, this space, this XXX. Heck, now that I'm thinking about it, wasn't Candace Owens MAGA for the longest time? They really kicked Candace Owens to the curb because Candace Owens didn't fit her narrative too. Even Ben Shapiro too. As anti-Semitism ranks up, they're not really gonna keep Ben Shapiro around because they want that viewer base. They want that viewer base. They want that anti-Semitic viewer base. You saw that leaked chat? You saw those Nazis and swastikas in the room? You don't know what they are. What the hell? Y'all gotta stay on your toes because those dog whistles ain't dog whistles anymore. Those dog whistles are horns. Remember Revelations? The horns that played right before the Nephilim came? Oh my God, God, I hear him, God. Oh, hallelujah. Oh God.
To her a few things, and I said, if ever you want to talk to Daddy, you just look up to the sky and start talking to him. He can hear you. It's always here. And I told her, I said, you know, Daddy is in heaven. She goes, do you think I could go sometime? I said, baby, we will all go one day. We will all go one day.
You know, so often we talk about the ramifications of it and the movement and all this.
I'm back. I hate this because I was spitting. But I just want to say that it's very telling who's allowed to grieve, right? And what narratives are allowed to be displayed in a public sense. Because I want to talk about the aspect of I guess grief and how it's given a platform for MAGA, right? While there's immigrants being raided right now, while there's ICE protests, while there's Palestine protests, while there's Sudan protests, while there's signature after signature after signature of all of these things that we're communally coming up with and sending to our legislature, right? Well, that is not being seen at all, but people like Erika Kirk are allowed to cry. They're setting up memorials for Charlie Kirk all across the country. You know what I'm saying? And they're praising those. It's very telling what narrative MAGA is even trying to center in a populist sense, right? Because MAGA itself is not a popular ideal, but they need propaganda tools in order to be mainstream. That's why Charlie Kirk was so powerful for MAGA. That's why Erika Kirk will be so powerful for MAGA. You know what I'm saying? Now, immediately, it was weird seeing that video, how she's struggling to cry. But my second question here is, why is she being paraded to the public, right? And like I said, like I've been alluding to this whole video, there's a soft power MAGA publicly constructs in order to distill populist beliefs in society, like the gender conversation being a culture war, allowing for Trump to run on washroom segregation as a legitimate topical opinion for a lot of folks, right? That becoming a broader issue. And Erika Kirk is now a part of that. However, this soft power isn't for no reason. The reason why Erika Kirk is allowed to cry on that stage is the same reason why you'll never see a black woman as close to Trump as she is, right? The narrative is built of a white supremacist belief of subserviency to the state, aka Trump or whatever billionaire there is to suck off. You know what I'm saying, right? You know what I'm saying? It's martyrdom and being viewed as a hero, being censored by the radical left. Assata Shakur died in the FBI, white guy who, right? Like, that's so weird to me. You know what's so weird to me? How EBT also died off when Assata Shakur died. Because Assata Shakur's butterfly effect is the creation of EBT and school lunches. The Black Panthers are the reason why we have school lunches across the nation, even in Canada, right? Even in Canada, even in places like Canada, they were that big, right? This idea of coming together and feeding your community was so such a compelling way to get people involved. It became legislature, and then it became a right. You know what I'm saying? People had to fight for those rights. Erika Kirk is very much doing a gender performance. White women can utilize the possessiveness and infantilization of women to be protected and be lifted up by playing into that role, right? But like I said, this soft power isn't for no reason. The narrative is built off of a white supremacist belief of subserviency to the state, right? Ask yourself why certain narratives are being overlooked. Ask yourselves why MAGA creates and stirs negative sentiments for immigrant women and then glams up a white woman and gives you a purposeful spectacle of grief, right? The people that are convincing you that this is a grieving white woman also purposely graft racist talking points by altering images of black children online on Twitter, right? I mean, there's a reason why Donald Trump surrounds himself with mostly white women and men for a purposeful cultural aesthetic, right? It's the Aryan textbook, right? And I want this video to go further than Erika Kirk, further than Charlie's neck hole even. Like, this conversation around Erika Kirk can't be had without examining the grander picture of Trump to a mainstream. And I got a good TikTok about that. So what's that? Okay, Sid, nice to see you here too. Nice to see you in the chat. Nice to see everybody here if it's their first times or whatever.
A Kirk. And I don't mean like one clip, right? I mean watching how she moves, how she positions herself, how she's being used. And I can't lie, it's getting weird. Because when your public grief starts looking like an Adam and Eve commercial, that's not faith. That's branding. And it's gross. And the wild part is she's not...
Girl said Adam and Eve commercial. Oh my God. You know, it's been so weird to me. Like, I hate that side of the internet that coalesces around like misogyny, but I've been looking at it. I'm like, this is a little weird too, though. Like, this is, I don't know, man. Bro, if I just got took down like that in the neck, you know what I'm saying? I just got took down in the neck, like Kirk. Oh my God, bro. And my wife goes, and all of a sudden she's being paraded with around all these billionaires. Like, either I already knew what it was because I was already a puppet, or like I'm mad as hell because I'm like, what the hell? I thought you was my Bonnie and Clyde. You know what I'm saying? This your Bonnie? Like, this your body? She want the whole crew, shoddy brave. When the money talks, what is there to say?
Being objectified. She's participating. She's found her place in the performance. The beautiful believer, the holy widow, the vessel for the message. Erika Kirk figured out how to turn devotion into influence. Not the loud kind, though. The curated, palatable kind. You know, the one that makes far-right politics look gentle. She wraps white Christian nationalism in soft femininity, in perfectly timed tears and God's plan captions. And the people around her are eating it up. Because every movement like this needs a face. Someone who makes extremism look nurturing instead of dangerous. She's not on stage with men like J.D. Vance by accident. She's there because she makes his ideology look marketable. She's proof that the patriarchy will always find a woman to front the campaign. But real talk, since her husband died, she's been everywhere. Podcasts, conferences, stages. Grieving publicly in a way that doesn't feel accidental. Because grief sells when it looks holy. When it sounds like faith instead of fury. That hug with Donald Trump, that wasn't a spiritual moment. That was a moment designed to make people feel safe with him.
And that's what's so, like, weird to me when we're talking about narratives, right? Trump is actively constructing this idea of paternalism and him being the savior figure to this grieving woman, right? Purposefully. It's a performance, right? Trump is up there, like, being a theater kid, right? In politics. Like, this is so wild to me. This is like performative racism times 9 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is so weird to me. And the fact that Trump is allowed to get away with it, you know what I'm saying? With his party, with his voter base, with people in general who will take Erika's side way more than they will go and search for an immigrant to talk to in a interview. You know what I'm saying? Around ICE raids or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, this narrative purposely being constructive becomes a norm, which is so weird to me. Someone said, friends, something's up on Twitch. Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me check. Am I back? Yeah, but anyways, I'm saying, like, the normalization of this narrative, right? The fact that she's getting the most amount of news, she's getting the most amount of airtime, and like this falsified narrative is being instated, it is enough. Because not only is it a lie, it's mainstream, and then it becomes the main thing that everyone's talking about. And then all of a sudden we're all looking at the spectacle. And we could judge it for right or wrong at the end of the day, but we're missing out on a whole bunch of other things, right? I want to say that this is a tragedy. This is a narrative tragedy to a lot of histories being attacked currently in real time, right? A lot of immigrants being attacked and racially profiled by ICE, having the Supreme Court deem it legal to racially profile, right? And all these other things. But we're supposed to believe, oh, this white woman is supposed to be protected. You know what I'm saying? It's so weird to me. So weird to me. But I'm going to finish this. We're going to finish this video.
Because nothing says redemption like a woman weeping in your arms, right? And whether she realizes it or not, she's become the emotional shield of a movement. She absorbs the criticism, softens the image, right? She sanctifies the message. So
what happened?
I've been watching Erika Kirk, right? She sanctifies the message. So here's the thing. Erika Kirk is not naive. She is strategic. But when your brand becomes a faith-based fairy tale, you start serving a system that'll never serve you back. Because to them, she's only as valuable as her pain. The second she stops crying on cue, the second she stops being useful, they'll find another soft-spoken believer to stand in that same light and call it revival. That's how these movements work. They sanctify women's suffering as proof of men's virtue. So yeah, I've been watching Erika Kirk, and the more I see, the clearer it gets. This isn't about faith, this is about optics. She's not spreading Christianity, she's selling comfort. All for a movement built on control. And one day, because it will come, the day when she stops fitting that narrative, the same hands holding her up are going to drop her. Because in that world, women like Erika aren't partners, they're props. And props are always replaceable.
And what she said about, like, she's not selling Catholicism, she's not selling Christianity. She's selling to you authoritarianism under the guise of, you know, grief. This narrative is very purposeful. It's a very purposeful display of power by Trump, right? While he just cut Medicaid, right? While the Democrats folded to that too. While he just cut Medicaid. While he just cut a whole bunch of things related to EBT. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just dropped the nobody eating bill. He said nobody eating. Right? Like, this is very weird. This is very weird. But anyways, and Trump has always had a cruel way of using women, you could say, right? Specifically in a relational sense. With white women to uphold a paternalistic narrative of merit around his actions. Like, Erika Kirk is one of many women a part of this story Trump is trying to create that detracts from the insidious nature of his normative interactions with women and social structures as a whole, right? To put this into perspective, imagine the same dude that had his name on the Epstein list for a while hosted the biggest modeling competition in the world. Right? The same dude that had his name on the Epstein list for a while was the host of the biggest modeling competition in the world. The same dude that had his name on the Epstein list was a judge for the biggest modeling competition in the world. It's so weird. It's so weird. Someone said in response to snap cuts, my school is handing out food boxes weekly. That's so amazing. I saw that a whole bunch of churches were giving to communities. I talked about this before, but my church used to always pitch in at the end of every week and then give to the most unfortunate. If you have extra, make sure to give to people that need it. And even if, like, for the younger people or the people that are still at school, just pack a second lunch. Just pack a second lunch. And then just, I don't know, just toss it to somebody. Just a homie who would say he don't eat. You know what I'm saying? Just toss it to him. Toss it to him. Like, and I'm sure y'all know who's suffering if y'all know who's suffering. Like, everybody talks to everybody, right? We ought to be open and transparent with each other. We'll get through this together, right? Gotta keep the hope. But anyways, in other words, fork found in kitchen, right? Spray tan found on Florida man. Germanic DNA found in Nazi sympathizer. Who would have guessed? It's Donald Trump, right? Right. So to understand Trump from Gen Z perspective, you have to understand the TV, because Trump and the persona of Trump have been purposefully grafted over the years, and Erika Kirk is just a byproduct of that, right? See, the first time I saw Trump was on Home Alone, and Trump generationally has used the camera and social media in order to combat the very real failings of his business and personal life. And let me tell you, like back then, TV was the most powerful tool of modern connotation on a day-to-day level, right? Whether it was kids asking each other what they watched the other night to middle-aged Caucasians watching Game of Thrones, you know what I'm saying? FD toilet is they're taking the hobbits to Isengard, you know what I'm saying? Is the audio still in and out? No way. Is the audio still in and out? But what I want to stress is that these billionaires, right, use the TV in a soft power. And I got a really good video around Elon Musk and the Big Bang Theory, right? An example of how Elon Musk is utilizing soft power. This episode was when one of the members of the Big Bang Theory was literally handing out food to homeless people, right? And Elon Musk guest appears, and it's supposed to be this thing of like, oh, this billionaire, he could be doing so much other things, but he's so altruistic. I'm sure y'all saw that in Iron Man 2. But here it is.
There you go.
In 4K.
You gotta be kidding me. Sorry? You're Elon Musk.
Also, I never got that haircut, man. Like, I'm so glad that I'm actually a little mad that white people are taking fades, but at the same time, like, what was this? Like, what was this? Like, only Justin Bieber pulled that off. Like, I'm so honest. Like, what was this? Like, this was, to me, this was like, oh my God. Like, I don't know what this was. Like, you know when Nicki Minaj said, what's her name, B.O.B., so they call you Bob, Bob, Bob? This was who she was looking at when she wrote those lyrics. Like, right? She was looking at this. She was like, what's her name, B.O.B., so they call you Bob, Bob, Bob. Stop playing, nigga. You know that I'm known for that. Because his is awful. Because his is, it's not even Beatles core. Because Ringo actually had like some little... Why y'all loving it? Y'all saying, someone said, oh, the mushroom. Oh, y'all love it? Oh, so I'm just hating by myself. Oh my God. Oh my God. Aye. Someone said this was hot in the monasteries, bro. Don't hate. Oh my God. Maybe in the monk era. Maybe in the monk, William the Conqueror. Bro, my fault. My fault. I'm gonna click play.
Musk. I am? What are you doing here? I'm washing dishes. Well, I was on the turkey line, but I got demoted for being too generous with the gravy. Oh, man. What an honor to meet you. I'm such a fan of Tesla and SpaceX, all your companies. Howard Wolowitz, Caltech. Nice to meet you, Howard. It feels great to come down here and help.
Someone said this used to pull the huzz back. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. I didn't see one person pulling any I have a feeling when y'all say huzz, y'all don't even know what huzz. Y'all, oh my God. Oh, this is triggering me. Oh, don't rage, baby. You're rage baiting me. No, that's not a normal haircut. He doesn't look normal. I'm tired of pretending. Get a haircut. Bro, what would have crashed out if I was in that house, bro? I would have looked at him and crashed out. I don't know why that shit raged me. He just doesn't look normal, bro. Bro, he just something's off. He doesn't. I can't put my finger. Yo, this thing just not real.
Help the less fortunate, huh? Oh, yeah. Nothing better than helping people. Which is something I realized when I was viewing Earth from the deck of the International Space Station.
Like, no. Please. No! Like, this is like top 3 worst haircuts of all time ever constructed in the history of ever even fathoming anything that has to do with anything that happens on the top of the head follicles in the whole world. Bro, who decided that this would be a real thing? But this ain't about him. Oh my God, I just got carried away. I was laughing so hard. Alright, I'm back. I had to blow my nose. I was laughing so hard. Oh my God. But anyways. So there Elon Musk was helping out with the food kitchen, right? Which is ironic. considering what they're doing with USAID and what they're doing with SNAP right now. You know what I'm saying? And Trump did the same exact spiel in the 90s to 2000s with television, right? He had a cameo in Home Alone 2 and The Little Rascals. He was in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and he was in the WWE, right? So when you're constantly being portrayed as this domineering business figure who fires people across many demographics, what you'll get is this basis of relation of soft power, right? And this, I'd argue, was Trump's first trampoline to a presidency even, right? Someone said, isn't USAID a CIA project though? I don't know too much about that. You gotta yap in the comments to me about that.
Now, we're doing the right thing, aren't we? We should sell.
Oh my God, she's buckling, Dad. Throw some cold water on her.
Carlton, of course we're doing the right thing, sweetheart.
Sir, it is my esteemed pleasure to introduce Mr. and Mrs. Donald Trump. Mr. Donald! Oh my God!
Right? Mr. and Mrs. Donald Trump. Right? On Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Donald Trump definitely did it too. And this leads to understanding the MAGA narrative and what they're trying to do with Erika Kirk, right? The other day, Erika Kirk got an award, the Charlie Kirk Legacy Award, right? She kirked Kirk for the Kirk, right? The Caucasian of the day Kirk is... This stream is so serious. This stream is so serious. Anyways, Erika Kirk is Charlie Kirk's wife. The white supremacist man who was shot and killed by a white boy on Utah campus, right? Basically, Erika Kirk has been uplifting white supremacist narratives through the aspect of martyrdom by being a symbol for Donald Trump. However, a lot of people are discovering that this isn't new, right? Erika's been a model, an actress, a social media figure, and while she was a model, Trump was the one judging her, right? That's also a year that Jeffrey Epstein was an active NPC in America, by the way. Jeffrey Epstein was an interactable character in normative society, by the way. This was what was happening. Like, Jeffrey Epstein was a normative, interactive NPC in a day-to-day setting, and Donald Trump interacted with him. You know what I'm saying? And they went on player quests together. You know what I'm saying? It's not alleged. At the same time, he was judging Erika Kirk, and at the same time, Erika Kirk was a model, right? But see, the Charlie Kirk Legacy Award subverts that narrative, right? It's just another soft power used to create a populist beliefs for the actions of these pedophiles, right? But before we really start digging into Donald Trump, I want to emphasize the narrative, as I keep doing. While Trump had widespread appeal, though, through all these ongoing TV shows in the 90s, there was also the Central Park Five, right? Because like I said before, racism is a distraction, but there's still a real narrative with racism, right? How come we know about all of Trump's TV appearances? How come we know about Elon Musk, Trump, and their soft power in the modern day? But we don't know about the Central Park Five, right? And we don't continue on with those characters, but instead we're still living in the active narrative of Trump, right? Normatively, right? And if y'all don't know who the Central Park Five is, I'm gonna give y'all the rundown. But I have a woke audience section, so y'all might know. Someone said she also trafficked children in Romania. Oh my God. Let me say allegedly in Minecraft. Jeffrey Epstein has an unlockable character in the game. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And Donald Trump was living in that time. And that's what Erika Kirk came out of. Y'all gotta understand. Like I'm saying. Did you hear that Epstein was making fun of Trump in the email/mails they released? And he was little broing Trump at the same time. Oh my God. How you get little broed by Jeffrey Epstein? Oh my God. But anyways, I got a good article around the Central Park Five called Central Park Five, the true story behind When They See Us, right? One spring evening in 1989, this was at the same time Donald Trump was doing all of his movie advertisements. Elon Musk was doing all of his movie advertisements. You know what I'm saying? One spring in 1989, a group of around 30 teenagers were hanging out in Central Park, New York. Some of them were causing serious trouble, including badly hurting others in the park and harassing homeless people. That was the story. And then the same night, a 20-year-old white woman, Trisha Melly, had been jogging out in the park. She was found beaten and raped and was in a coma for 12 days, right? 5 Black and Hispanic boys aged 14 and 16 would be found guilty and jailed for the crime. They became known as Central Park Five, but they never committed the crime. right? This was what was happening in New York. And there, Donald Trump played a big role in this. Like the same guy that was building a soft power in a populist sense, going on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, going on The Big Bang Theory, going on a whole bunch of these shows, WWE. Damn, he was on damn everything, doing that the "you're fired" meme. You know what I'm saying? The same guy accruing all this soft power, all of a sudden backs the death penalty against the Central Park Five, group of people that were racially profiled, right? How come we don't live in that same narrative? New York in the 80s and 90s was much more dangerous than it is today. Racial relations were strained. Meanwhile, Donald Trump, then a New York property mogul, seemed convinced the teens were guilty. He spent a reported $85,000, around £138,000 today, on 4 full-paged adverts in New York newspapers titled, "Bring back the death penalty, bring back our police." Right? He wrote, "I want to hate these murderers, and I always will. I'm not looking to psychoanalyze or understand them. I'm looking to punish them." Right? In an interview he said at the time, "Maybe hate is what we need if we're going to get something done." Right? Right? And they were not guilty, but they were released around 20 years later. You know what I'm saying, on not guilty charges. But the fact that Donald Trump is allowed to at the same time, while building all this populist belief in a soft power, while actively being racist and while actively contributing to systemic discrimination, you know what I'm saying, as a property mogul, to, in a populist sense, even putting his own money down, $85,000 down. You know what's so weird to me? Weren't you bankrupt? Where you got $85,000? You know what's so weird to me? Trump the biggest con artist, because it always be like bankruptcy, bankruptcy, bankruptcy. All of a sudden he had $85,000. Didn't this guy's university bankrupt? How does he have $85,000 just hanging around? Like, who paid this guy? Do we just got a printer? Because it'd be so weird to me. The fact that he was shaking hands with like an active terrorist leader though in the White House earlier. And I'm talking about the terrorist leaders that the United States creates. Like the way that the United States creates Boko Haram or creates organizations like the RSF and funds them in order to secure resources for themselves in the Congo and destabilize different regions. You know what I'm saying? He was shaking hands in the White House with him. That's so weird to me. Like the fact that like it can be like this transparent, and maybe that's where you getting his money. I mean, he right there shaking hands with him. What are we to expect otherwise? It's so weird to me. It's so weird to me. But anyways, this is leading to the MAGA narrative, right? With Erika Kirk, right? The other day, Erika Kirk got an award, the Charlie Kirk Legacy Award, right? And I kind of want to emphasize what Erika Kirk even symbolizes to a grander public, right? Now that's Donald Trump. But Erika Kirk came out of a media landscape of the 2000s, but with a different aspect of symbolism being had, right? The Tradwife. Now, being a traditional wife is moronic as being white and signing Native American, right? That just doesn't make sense. Traditional white, right? How are you white and what? But it has the same energy as the action of white people that sign Native American, right? White people that say it's just weird. Right? Tradwives live by arbitrary traditional standards of femininity rooted in a very malleable belief of femininity that revolves around white womanhood, right? They believe that a woman's role is subservience to her husband, right? In fact, Erika openly admitted to have a partnership where she fully submits to her husband. See, this woman appeals to the misogynistic emplacement of women as populist belief in order to further mega initiatives, right? Feminism in the late 1800s and early 1900s, often referred to as the first wave, primarily focused on women achieving the right to vote, whereas the second wave, initiated largely by Freudian's work in the 1960s, fought for further advocacy for women on social and legal levels, right? The women's liberation movement, as the second wave is often called, represented global womanhood as a monolith, as a united force that demanded attention, which was its strength as well as its downfall. Right? This romanticized view of a mythical past is the radical right's coded language on demographic panic, right, that happen naturally in society, right? See, if you're a woman in America, being treated like a woman in America all your life, your basis of understanding comes with your subjective reasonings, with the idea of femininity ingrained in you by your mother, your father, your peers, etc., which makes someone like Erika Kirk so dangerous when it comes to understanding commonality in the culture wars of today's everyday society, right? Because while all these other men kind of rally around misogyny, right? They rally around racist degradation, all these other things. What they can't really get is women. But Tradwifes satiate that need, right? By pointing at this arbitrary role and bringing up the an entry point conversation of, oh, women should have the choice to submit their woman to their husband if y'all want to, and then taking an inch and running a mile and then retracting Roe v. Wade, you know what I'm saying? Like doing all that in order to garnish popular belief at first, and then going further and taking your rights. You know what I'm saying? That's how mega populist belief works, right? And someone said a pick me mentality, right? I also got a good video for that. Someone said having a drink, cheers chat. Nice to see you. Another gamer guy said enjoying the discourse. Nice to see you, fam. Trump being heavily involved with Julian Casablanca's dad and Epstein. Why does MAGA look past his documented pedophilia? All because he fortifies white supremacy. It's gross. You know what's so weird to me too? How Charlie Kirk's dad built Trump Tower. That's so weird to me. When I think about how close all these people were their whole life, Erika Kirk's second trip to Israel, apparently, they saw Charlie Kirk. And that's so weird to me. Packing a cone, cheers chat. Oh my God, light it up. Anyway.
Don't realize how big this moment is that the Central Park 5 is able to file a lawsuit.
Anyways, I kind of wanted to play and watch this video.
Erika Kirk taking over Turning Point USA is a sign that tradwife culture is about to get a lot more extreme and a lot more hypocritical. Erika is infamous for quotes like the highest role of a woman is to be a wife and a mother, but these are not values that she herself lives by. At 18 years old, Erika Kirk started her own nonprofit. She went on to get a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and a doctorate. She's had careers as a model, a real estate agent, an actress, and is now the CEO of a lifestyle app, her own brand, a podcast, and Turning Point USA, a multi-million-dollar national corporation. These are the kind of women getting platformed by the modern conservative movement, and it's on a spectrum from Candace Owens, who's very obviously political, all the way down to Nara Smith and Ballerina Farms, the more lifestyle influencer tradwives. These are women with careers, with businesses, with options, who are making money off of telling other women not to have those things and to be beholden to their husbands. These are women who either explicitly or implicitly criticize feminism and yet have everything that they have because of the feminist movement. These are women who could easily take care of themselves if they needed to leave an abusive relationship, or take care of their children if they lost their partner in an accident, and yet they are actively making money preaching to other women that they should not build their own backup plans and their own independence. The most ironic part of this whole thing is that if this conservative movement that they are helping to build actually succeeds, it will eventually take them all down with it. If they were actually relegated to the roles of wives and mothers like they say every other woman should be, they would not have these roles or the millions of dollars that come with it. Erika Kirk now being the face of something like Turning Point USA just takes this grift to a whole new level.
And this is what I'm saying, like MAGA ideology is even absorbing the soft power of being a tradwife. And what's funny is this version of femininity, right, is still defined by men. Erika Kirk's femininity was defined by her aspect of grief, her martyrdom after Charlie Kirk's death, right? And these tradwives still envision themselves positioned in a subservient position to men, like Erika Kirk routinely does with the billionaires around her. Right, the tradwives trend is also so much more powerful than the manosphere because of how it coalesces around conservative ideals. Like I said before, specifically for women, right? Think of someone like Moist Critical. Do you really think that man is bringing in femme viewers by the boatload? You know what I'm saying? Face card declining, right? Face card is expired in the Mesozoic era. You know what I'm saying? So someone like Erika Kirk or even Nara Smith, Hannah Nealman, Est Williams, right? They do a lot to bring women into the movement of conservative ideology. from a counterculture perspective. The idea that all women used to be housewives who are now unfairly torn between family, work, and their love for cooking has already been discredited by a million different people. Like, this isn't a populist idea to be like, oh, well, women should have rights and women deserve more rights even. Maybe, right? Maybe women should have rights, actually. Actually, women should have rights to their body. That's not really an unpopular thing. You know what I'm saying? But they need someone to make that popular. They need someone to make that aspect of narrative popular to a public. So what they're going to do is they're going to make a champion out of Erika Kirk. They're going to give her all these awards. They're going to put her on a pedestal. They're going to say, oh, this is the girl y'all should be looking at. When her value is kind of overinflated. Because the thing about populist culture here, and her too, is, to me, this will never be popular. To me, this will never be popular. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think I'd ever be attracted to somebody this slow, like this stale, this odd, this plain, this Aryan, this, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like to any normal person, like someone that positions themselves like that, I'm like, you're gonna get yourself an abusive husband. Really, that's it. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get friends. You're not gonna get a life. You're not like a real life happiness around you. You're not gonna get real love. Like, all your love is gonna come from this superficial need of love that you're seeking, right? You're just gonna become a pick-me. But what they're doing is they're leading women into it, right? They're leading women into it, right? Through the aspect of storytelling, through her being this woman of God and all that. You know what I'm saying? So instead, I do think there's a criticism to be made about cottagecore that relates to Tradwives. That too. Like, look at this. Look at this. This was one of these videos I found that was at 47K likes, right? And 400 comments. Like, who was liking this?
God of order. And there's a reason why there's a husband and a wife, and there's a reason why there's a family, and there's a reason why there's certain things you're supposed to do beforehand before you get married, and there are things that you're not supposed to do before you get married.
There's a reason why there's supposed to be certain things beforehand. Girl, you was hooping and you was dunking on niggas in high school. All of a sudden, you hit 20 years old. All of a sudden, you met Trump. All of a sudden, you slutted out for Christ. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, you kissing people on stage. So to me, this is so weird to me. Someone said, what am I watching? If you tuned in at this exact moment, it may look like a fever dream, but this is an ad for the Turning Point USA YouTube channel, right? That's gotten 47,000 likes. That is helping to spew this mainstream narrative of Erika Kirk, right? Because what's happening right now is a mainstream narrative is being built about Erika Kirk to contribute to MAGA's movement, right? And she here is talking about a wife's duties to a husband. And to me, this is so weird because you're not teaching women, you're not teaching little girls. To me, this is like entrapping little girls to the same cages of reality. We stifle them to a day-to-day level. You know what I'm saying? What you have to do with the young women is meet them where they are in a realistic sense. I have little sisters, right? And I thought my little brothers would be the ones to play basketball. No, it was my little sister, right? Like, she was begging for her birthday all summer to get a basketball. Then I got her basketball, right? That's my little sister. I never, in a million years, because of my in-placed idea of gender ideology, right? I thought it'd be my brothers, but instead it was my sisters, right? You can never guess. You got to meet people where they are. Right? One of my sisters really likes gymnastics. You know what I'm saying? I'm not flexible at all. You know what I'm saying? I get along way better with her, though, when it comes to talking about life, when it comes to talk about differing things. My sister likes basketball, is a little bit more of a crash show. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just different levels. Everybody's a little different. But when you confine women to this box, what you're creating is a narrative mold for these women to aspire to be. When there's so much more things woman could be other than subservient to men. Like, white women, if you're with a white man, punch him in the face right now. White woman, if you're with a punch him in the face right now. Punch him in the face right now. If you're with a white man right now, punch him in the face right now. Punch him in the face right now. If you would punch him in the face right now. You are so much more than a dude. Like, you are so much more than emotional affiliation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but anyways, we're gonna keep watching this. I'm going all right.
which is saved for marriage itself. And I think that goes for dating too. You're not supposed to treat your boyfriend or your girlfriend like your fiance or like your husband. You set boundaries and you really are able to then say, okay, he is in charge of XYZ in our relationship. I am in charge of the other side. Counterpart, your male companion, the respect they deserve. Our God is.
The way she's even smiling at the end of that, like, look at her face, bro. Like, bro, she look like a vampire, bro. Bro, this is not real, bro. Bro, this Remick, this femme Remick. You know what we're gonna do? Sinners, tight beat, free for use. Yeah, we gonna end the stream with a nice little freestyle.
Aye, this is to Erika Kirk. This is to Erika Kirk. Hey. This is to Erika Kirk. I'm about to put you in the heater. Put in work. Charlie, like 10 deep in dirt. You next, but he was first. Pewing narratives with those blue eyes. I swear you are the worst. You the worst. You sucking up to Trump. You won't get reimbursed. I'll see you in hell cause you the worst. Erika Kirk, stare at you with them blue eyes, then you know you're cursed. Then you know you cursed. I hate this trad wife. Somebody come get this trad wife. And tell your husband I said fuck Kirk. Fuck his life. Fuck his life. Fuck you too for being his wife. For no other reason, just for being his wife. How you got a law degree and you this nigga wife? How you got a law degree and you decide to be this nigga wife? You didn't get that law degree. That law degree was awful. That law degree was from elementary. It wasn't from kinder. It was from kindergarten. That law degree was not from school. How are you? I just talked at the end. No, but real. She got a whole law degree and she still ended up with Charlie Kirk. The bar exam is racist. This is like, there's no other reason. There's no, because why, how else did she get in? There's no. Yeah, but anyways, it was nice chilling with y'all. It was fun chilling with y'all. I'm sending hearts to y'all. Thank you for chilling with me. I'll be on like a little bit earlier next time. I'm sorry for hopping on so late, but damn, it was fun. It was fun. It's always fun. Yeah. Oh, also I'm doing a 24/7 hour stream next week for 7 days. A 24/7 7-day stream. A bunch of people are going to be there. A bunch of people that are probably familiar to you guys who have watched the channel and all that. So I will see y'all later. Okay. Peace.